Ladies and gentlemen, imagine standing in a grand hall, chandeliers glowing above you, the eyes of kings, queens, and dignitaries upon you, and there you are, about to speak not just to a nation, but to the person you love most in the world. That's exactly what happened on a glittering evening in May 2018, when Crown Princess Mary of Denmark stood up to speak to her husband, Crown Prince Frederik, on his 50th birthday. The setting was majestic, Christiansborg Palace in Copenhagen. Every corner of the great hall shimmered with pride, history, and elegance. It wasn't just a royal celebration, it was a reflection of 2 decades of partnership, love, and duty. The Crown Prince sat beside his family, guests from across Europe's royal houses filled the room, and all eyes turned to Mary, the woman who, 14 years earlier, had captured Denmark's heart as she walked down the aisle to marry its future king. But that night, something felt different. The moment she began to speak, the tone changed. The grand ceremony suddenly felt intimate, almost like we were all being invited into their private world. Mary began with words that have since become unforgettable. All the things I want to say. All the things I can say. All the things I cannot say. And all the things there is room to say. Simple, honest, beautifully human. From the very first line, you could sense that this wasn't just a speech, it was a love letter, spoken in public. She described Frederik not as a prince, or a future king, but as a man, a husband, a father, and a friend. She spoke about his many roles, how he could be serious one moment and adventurous the next. How he could command a room, yet find peace out on the open water. There was humor, too, those gentle teasing lines that every couple understands. The kind that remind us that love, especially royal love, is real only when it's playful, grounded, and full of laughter. As she spoke, the formal walls of the palace seemed to soften. This wasn't the language of pomp or protocol, it was the voice of a woman who understood the weight of royal life and the grace it demands. She praised Frederik for being more than his title, for being a man who values connection, who leads with empathy, and who has given her space to be herself. That one phrase, space to be herself, resonated deeply. In that moment, Crown Princess Mary revealed the quiet truth of every strong partnership. Love isn't about possession or perfection. It's about allowing the other person to grow, even under the brightest spotlight in the world. Those who were there say you could feel the emotion ripple through the room. Guests smiled. Some even teared up. And Frederik, sitting there in his formal uniform, looked at her with that unmistakable warmth that said more than words ever could. This wasn't just a birthday toast. It was a portrait of a marriage that had grown, matured, and deepened under public scrutiny, yet somehow remained authentic. Mary's speech reminded everyone that behind every royal title is a person who laughs, struggles, forgives, and loves, just like the rest of us. When the royal house later published the full text, the Danish media couldn't stop talking about it. Bild Bladet, national broadcasters, and royal watchers across Europe replayed the clip again and again. People described it as one of the most touching, modern royal speeches ever delivered, a masterclass in how to blend duty with emotion. Even now, years later, it's still quoted, not for its grandeur, but for its sincerity. So why did it strike such a chord? Because it showed something rare in royalty, vulnerability. Mary spoke from the heart, but she did it with elegance and restraint. She knew her words would echo across Denmark, yet she kept them grounded. She reminded everyone that true strength isn't about keeping your guard up, it's about knowing when to let it down. And for a few minutes that evening, we all saw the Crown Prince and Princess not as symbols of the monarchy, but as partners, equals, and friends. When I think back on that moment, I see more than a royal speech. I see a story of love that has stood the test of time, a love that crossed oceans, cultures, and expectations. Princess Mary, once an Australian commoner, spoke to her husband, Denmark's future king, with all the confidence of a woman who had found her place in his world, and in his heart. And with just a few sentences, she reminded us that love, real love, is both simple and profound. So the next time you hear someone mention royal duty or ceremony, remember that behind the crowns and uniforms, there's still room for something timeless. A quiet voice saying, all the things I want to say. Thanks for watching, please like, share and subscribe my channel.